Morning everyone. Sunday morning, beginning of February. I just wanted to post a quick channel update just to share with you some of the things on the painting table, some of the projects going on, and any new arrivals that have come over the last couple of weeks. First of all, on the painting table, you'll be aware from my last update, I had a couple of things that were approaching the finished status. So we had some skeletons which I was doing as a palette cleanser for kind of Jason and the Argonauts stroke Greek mythology kind of period. These are going to be used probably for my OfGods&Mortals rules from Osprey Wargames. I'm building up a number of sort of character figures and troops for that. The great thing about it is that they're really enjoyable single sort of figures or groups of figures that I wouldn't normally paint, and a number of the figures will be able to be used across other rule sets as well. So let's show you a little bit in terms of the skeletons. Again, apologise if the picture quality is not that great at the moment. I will show you these at the end of the video on my turntable as well, so you can kind of get a feel for those. But I'm quite pleased with how they have come out. Funny enough, from my trip to Edinburgh last weekend, I was really fortunate that there was an exhibition going on at one of the National Art Galleries for Ray Harryhausen, who was the animator for a number of famous films, certainly while I was growing up, and I'm sure a number of you will relate to them. The original Jason and the Argonauts, Clash of the Titans, the original King Kong, to name a few. There were lots of other ones as well. So I got to visit that to see some of these scale sculptures stroke models that he built. The skeletons themselves were about 6 inches high, and then sort of showing how he filmed those to make the movie. So again, that gave me a bit of impetus to get the skeletons finished, and I'll show you a bit more of those, as I say, a bit later in the video. Likewise, a couple of the character figures I've been doing. You'll remember these were figures I bought from the Blood Rage box set expansion, which the models are great because they're a little bit bigger than 28mm, so they represent, certainly in the game I'm trying to build for, the legends or gods concerned. So we've got here, again, hopefully you can see those 4, and we've also got Heimdall there as well. They're really nice models. They are plastics, and I've just put them onto a round circular base to kind of boost the height, the appearance, the form of the figure. In terms of how I painted all of those, I used a mixture of the Foundry's 3-color system and also contrast, and washes. So for majority of them, it was a case of using a grey primer. I used the Army Painter grey primer, brush on primer. I quite like that one. I use that a lot, unless I'm spraying, with a rattle can. And then I tend to use a light brown tone wash over the top of that primer before I start painting, and that just brings out some of the depth in the figures. And then once I've painted the figures, whether that's normal Foundries or contrast, I finish off with a light brown tone wash over the top again, just to kind of wrap it all up. So pleased with how those have come out. Likewise, I've now finished all the TravelBattle figures. So you saw near enough completion of the red armies last time. I've now done the blues as well. Again, putting the figures up to the screen here, they're so small you probably won't be able to see them very well. So I'll show you some pictures of those at the end of the video again. But similar, I painted those actually on the sprues. again with a grey undercoat, brown wash, and then putting in the base colours. Again, I did use contrasts. So for the red armies, I did use Blood Angels red contrast. But for the blues, I used Prussian blue, which was a foundry colour. For the horses, I used contrast Gore Grunter fur. And for black, I used Black Templar. So again, a mixture of paint's been used there with a matte varnish finish. I'm quite pleased with the results. I don't think there's any need with the TravelBattle figures to flock or do anything with the bases, because there's not a lot of base visible. They're quite small 8mm figures. I know a little bit controversial in some circles, but actually they're really nice, and I think in terms of the game itself, they're perfect for what they're designed to do. So the next stage of TravelBattle is actually doing the Scenic Boards, which I'm really looking forward to doing. I've already done the canopies, which will go on top to form the woods and forests. So again, just straightforward foundry, forest green, a couple of shades, brown wash over the top. I've got the buildings to do next, and as I say, these 2 foot square boards. Just working out really the best approach with these. So anyone who's done these before, I'd appreciate any comments you've got around that. My general thoughts are, looking at sort of online posts and Perry's advice, is you don't need to do a base coat. You can go straight into dry brush and washing. It's a very textured surface, so I think my general thoughts are I might be able to get straight into doing some green dry brushing, brown for the roads and fields, and sort of see where we go from there. So I'm quite looking forward to getting those on the table in due course, and getting that TravelBattle set finished. My Carthaginians, as you saw last time, are all kind of based now. I've actually had a little care package arrive this week with some more. So I've got some more elephants and some character figures and things already primed, washed, ready to go. They're my next things on the painting routine. But in my care package from Pendraken, yeah, there were a couple of extra sort of blisters, javelin men, and some bits and pieces that I had gaps in my Carthaginian. So that's my next big army project to paint. And I also further enhanced my future planned Finnish World War II army. I'm looking now probably at the continuation or Lapland Wars, where we start to get some of the other types of units. So I've already purchased a KV1, as you can see there, looking really nice. I've already put that together. We had a couple of other things arrive this week, so we've got some Stugs. These will be Sturmies, as the Finns called them. Alongside those, what I've also bought, if I can find in the box here, again, you won't be able to see these very well on the figures. I can't find them at the moment, but you can buy a stowage set with the logs and bits and pieces. So I've bought those with the view to putting them on the Sturmies, because the sort of historic photos you see, the Finns did add a lot of extra sort of things like that to the Sturmies themselves. Not just in terms of enhancing maybe the protection, but I'm sure probably from a camouflage perspective, fighting in what would have been largely wooded, forested areas of Finland. Also got a couple of T26s, and then a number of different sort of figures. So we've got some Russian sniper figures, which I'm going to use and convert into Finnish snipers, submachine gunners, various rifleman poses, some in mainly in winter gear, again kind of with the theme that I'll be looking to do that army. I'm hoping to move on to that once I've done the Carthaginians. So it's a little way down the line, but I felt I wanted, as I needed a few bits anyway from Pendragon. As always, it's a good time to add a few extra little bits and pieces in there. So I'm just gradually building up my Finns. I probably still don't have quite enough to put an OGroup force together, but hopefully I'll be purchasing a few more in due course. We have talked at the club about maybe going to Hammerhead this year, which is coming up early March. It is one of my favourite shows. I've enjoyed that a lot in the past, so hoping we can get there and catch up with a few people who we speak to. Maybe a few people who subscribe to my channel. I might not know who you are, but hopefully you will recognise me, and if you do, please come over and say hello. It'd be great to have a chat. But that's the main things kind of in the immediate future on the project table. In terms of future purchases, I have made a little investment last week. Again, something I've been looking at, maybe painting myself, but I've decided to go in and buy something that's already pre-painted from eBay. So a gentleman selling some Greek 28mm hoplites based on MortalGods. Another rule set out there that I haven't had a chance to play yet. That's a skirmish game. He was selling some Athenian Greeks based for that game. So I know my brother has that game, so that's great because we'll be able to perhaps get that to the table in due course. But of course, I'm also thinking I can use those for my OfGods&Mortals game and other games such as Open Combat, maybe even Saga, things like that going forward. So hopefully I've got lots of options with those. They haven't arrived yet. I'm looking forward to getting those. As a result, ordered a couple of little blisters linked to that sort of character figures. So I've got a Hercules and a Perseus figure coming. I've also got some terrain, a Greek sort of, well, I think you call it a temple. It's an open temple done by Foreground. So I'm looking forward to getting that, putting that together. First, hopefully, a few terrain pieces that I can put together, whichever of the two games that we're playing. But as always, good to share just some hobby things with you. I say, hope to bring you some more videos in due course. Things will be a little bit quieter for a couple of weeks. I will try and post an update here and there where I can, but rest assured there'll be plenty more coming in due course. So again, thank you for tuning in and look forward to seeing you again soon.